Her first race wasn't a 5K or a 10K or a marathon. Nope. Her first race at 55 years old was a 100 miler. She ran the Rocky Raccoon, but she was just getting started. Today's episode is the infamous, unstoppable, passionate, funny, amazing human being, Ultra Pam 100, Pamela Chapman-Markle. She's the only human being to finish the Keys 100 10 times. She's also a 7-time finisher of the Badwater 135. You know, the world's most grueling foot race. But wait, I'll repeat that. 7-time finisher. But wait, that's not the most important piece of data. Most important piece of data, she finished Badwater 7 times after she turned 60. Woo! She's so funny, passionate, and her vibes are so invigorating that I committed to run Badwater on the interview. Committed to myself, because that's what she does. Inspires people. Whew. I bet when you listen to her, you'll do the same. I mean, you might not sign up to run Badwater, but you're gonna go out and do hard things. I'm Mark Vega, the host of the Run Long After 60 podcast. And if you like to hear inspiring stories of people doing hard things, then you're in the right place. Oh yeah. Within a week of publishing this episode, she's gonna do the iconic, legendary 153-mile Spartathlon in Greece. You know, the foot race from Athens to Sparti, current location of the ancient Sparta, where you finish the race by kissing the foot of the statue of King Leonidas. She's down for that. And you know what? It'll be the last race she does in her 60s, the last long race. Can you believe it? So we're catching Ultra Pam 100 before she turns 70. So we'd be sure to tell her happy birthday a month or two. But for now, are you ready? I'm ready. I'm ready. It's time for Ultra Pam 100. It's time for Pamela Chapman-Markle. Let's go, let's go, let's go! Here we are, Pam Chapman-Markle, Pam Chapman-Markle, just Ultra Pam. What's the best name, and good morning?
Good morning. I kept my maiden name because there were no sons in my dad's family, so I'm a middle child of 3, and I kept it as a professional because I was divorced for 20 years and remarried Mr. Markle. And so I never took it out of my professional, I'm sorry, I'll turn that off too. I never took it out of my professional. I delivered anesthesia for over 40 years. I am a nurse anesthetist, and I love the job. And the only reason that I retired was because all my money was going to Uncle Sam. So it was, and I was 69. I just retired this year. So it was like, it's about time to quit. And I miss it terribly. But unfortunately, the way the U.S. is, because of my age, doesn't matter, you know, I was the most sought after CRNA out there because I have done it for so many years and without, well, I don't have to knock on wood anymore, without a lawsuit. I never lost a patient. So, but I am 69, and because I'm married to an attorney, he recommended for me to retire because in lawsuits, the first thing people look at is the age of the person being sued. So unfortunately, I retired. I will probably go out and do it in some mission area to where people don't sue. They're just grateful to have medical care, because I've done a couple mission trips before in my lifetime. So that's it. But in the meantime, I have all the time in the world to run, train, and recover. I had a total hip replacement done. I broke my hip in 2020 and refused to have it fixed. It was a whole femoral head break. And so I refused to have it fixed because the sports medicine doctor I was going to told me I'd never run again. I just started running when I was 54.
Yeah, you need a new doctor. I apologize. I want to say I've got two monitors on either side, and when we're talking with someone like Pamela Chapman-Markle, who's got at least 65 races on Alter sign up, and who knows how many are not on Alter sign up, I have to look to the side because I don't remember anything. But I'll jump right into that. What I do remember is in 2020, right, COVID. So it looks like you have 3 races in COVID days in 2020 because it was very restrictive. So let's go ahead, jump right into that. At what point? So when did that doctor say, was there anybody who said don't do the surgery, and then other people who said do it and then keep running? Like, how did you discover the person because you're in the field, you're in the medical field anyway? What was the process of finding a person, and then your process in your head, like, I'm doing it, boom, do the hip replacement, knowing you're coming back to run?
Right. Which was it's been a very slow process. Once I had it done, I found a different doctor, and one that takes care of the Texans. And he said, Pam, he was very young. He was like maybe 39.
Oh boy.
He said,
okay.
He said, I have done several football players, triathletes, runners, but I've never done an Alter runner, especially an older Alter runner. And I said, okay. He said, but I'm willing to try if you can. You can run, but I can't guarantee you'll Alter run. I said, well, just fix my hip, please. So he did fix my hip, and I bought a machine called it's made from, and I bought it used, so don't let people think I paid the same amount of money, but
the
NASA
retail price. Yeah, go ahead. What was it?
NASA invented this machine where you put on this little zipped up area and you zip yourself on a treadmill, and so I started running 3 weeks after you can take body weight off, and I started running 3 weeks after my total hip replacement. So he gave me a titanium rod, ceramic ball.
Wait a second, Pam. 3 weeks. Now, by that time, you'd run so many 100-mile races and longer, and you crushed it, right? So you've got so many great Badwater stories. By the time you're 20, by the time it's 2020, you've smoked so many things. You've done it all. So wait a minute. And you're a master of recovery. You must be a master of recovery by this point. So let's go in. So let's pause for a second and repeat that again. Let me understand that. So you took only 3 weeks, 21 days or so. Okay. So was that sounds like those 3 weeks were occupied by me trying to find that stinking invention, right? You were trying to find that machine, right? For a good deal. That's what you were trying to do.
I actually found it, and it's called an AlterG. And I called and talked to one of the main people there, and he said, Pam, we want you on our website. Because I told him what I was going
to. We need a testimonial from Pam.
So I got the machine. I didn't tell my doctor, put myself in it, and took 20%, actually 80% of my body weight off, and just started running. Yeah. So it lifts you up.
It kind of suspends you in like a giant holster, and you're you're on top of the treadmill, right? That's okay. 80% of your body weight. Wow. That's quite a contraption. Wow. Okay.
Right.
How good did it feel like 3 weeks later, just mentally from a confidence perspective, just to be able to have that motion again, right?
It felt great. Yes, that's exactly right. It was more for up here than it was for my body. And literally the recovery time for a total hip is walking. Well, I'd been walking since I broke my hip. So, that was almost 2 years.
Right.
So
yeah,
I
that
went
didn't
ahead
stop
and
you. So walking, schmucking, who cares? That's funny. Now, you started off with just what I really was hoping, or not hoping, but I'm so glad you jumped right into age in a very specific way. So you had an age-related decision about retiring, and God bless you. I hope I can. I have a sense that'll be exactly my path too. There's going to be a time when I'm just, you know what, it's not worth the risk reward scenario. It's not worth it anymore. Whatever. We're gonna, so. But let's dive into this because you now must be an expert. Let's talk right with the first thing we're talking about ultras is age groups. Let's talk about age group because now I couldn't tell exactly, and it's not important. I don't need to know your birthday, but I know it's between October and December. And there's magic, I think, that happens when the age groups end. When you leave one age group and join another, right? Then
That's
you're
correct.
fueled. And also, if you're at the end of an age group, Salton Sea, if you're at the end of an age group, and some young buck comes in at 60, they're the first part of the age group, and then they come in with strength. So anyway, go ahead. Talk any story you want about age groups and cutoffs, but age groups. How's it work?
It's funny because when I first became known, which I, never was, excuse me, known, it was a little bit sad because almost all the races that I go to, I'm the oldest woman there by many years.
Right. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, and usually most of the people are very, very humble, very friendly to me at the start line. However, there's a few that have to say out loud to try to mess with my mind, which I have a really good mind. And they have to say, we got to get ahead of this old lady. And I've heard that several times.
Well, I bet you have.
And then at 50 miles, I'm passing them puking. They're puking over the side of the road. And I'm just saying, come on, you can do it. Keep going. And at the end of the race, hours later, they come up to me and tell me and apologize to me. They do. And it's like, it is what it is. I am old, but I refuse to say that this is a handicap for me. It's not. I don't care if I fall. I've never ran a marathon. The very first race I ran was 100 miles, Rocky Raccoon. And
let's pause this because that's that's a giant stake in the ground. Because the first time we do anything, it's the first time. But that's so awesome. And we'll celebrate that first Rocky Raccoon decision, 100 miles. And you read, I can run along. It's 50. What's 50? Oh, they've sold out. The story was like you ran out of spots for the 100K. So you're like, oh, why don't I just run the 100 miler?
Right. Yeah. My daughters thought I was crazy. But I finished it.
Yeah, you finished it. I love it. I love it. You're right. Age is not a thing. It's just not. And it's not, but the power, and here's the power and the discipline and really what's worthy of celebrating, Pam, your attitude when you pass them, because you pass so many people. And, people are in their own heads at the start line, and it's just nasty, but whatever. I'm sure you've heard it a lot. And
I have.
Because when you show up, people are looking over their shoulder and like, what? And that person's showing up because it's their first or whatever their story is, but they look over to you and the audacity that you show up on the start line. And that's what I'm saying. And with compassion and the love of the sport at 50 miles, you're like, you got it. Come on, you can do it. That's you pass them. Oh, I love it. So right now, you're in your 60s, but not forever. And so soon you're going to go step up into another level, right? So literally talk about age groups, and have you over the decades or recent times in the last, number of years, you ran so many races between 60 and 60 in your 60s. It's so impressive and just blows my mind. And I got trapped in your ultra sign up pages because I'm like, wait a minute, there's Salton Sea, and then she does Keys, and then Badwater, and then she does it again. And Salton Sea, and there's some other one, and there's another. So you really pack the schedule and have for a long time. So talk first, though, about as you approach the next age group, does your race selection change based on, I'm going to be super competitive now because so like when you're 70, you could literally sign up for every race you've already done and set record. You could like be the first, like, right? You could do that. So talk about that. Am I crazy, or does that ever go through your head?
I don't think you're crazy at all. I think that every time, especially Badwater and the Keys 100,
You've done 10 of those. Like, well, that's another thing. Like, 1,000 miles Keys, that thing. I looked at that track. I thought, I can't do that. I don't think I can physically. I don't know. I just don't think I could do it. And I read it once when I saw your first buckle or photo of it. But then it was just, I must have tracked the first story. But then you just did 10 of them in the last time. And it's insane. So yes, Badwater and Keys.
Yeah, I'm the only person who's ever finished 10 Keys 100. I started 10 and I finished 10. And the Keys 100 is a hard race because of the humidity and heat.
I'm telling you,
it's very hard.
But
I love it. It's like water on both sides, and that's who I am. I live on the Galveston Bay, so I am big into the water.
That's why you go to the Cape Fear as well. Cape Fear is one that you've done a lot. Okay.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, anything with the beach, I love. Even if it's running on the sand, I just can turn my head into the waves, and I am right there. Yeah, it's just sort of part of my soul.
Wow, so very meditative. Like when you're running, I've never heard that. Makes so much sense.
Very meditative. And I love Badwater because it is just so different. The mountains, I live in the below sea level.
Right.
I'm flatland.
Right.
So I road run all the time.
Right.
So I do go up to Austin. I have a daughter who lives up there. And to me, those are little hills, but I'm able to run them, and I really miss running hills. But it does make you a better runner. I'm going to tell you that right now. Yeah. If you could train with hills, that to me, that's great. But Badwater, there's just a meditative part of being surrounded by these huge mountains and hot, hot, hot desert with no life around you. And it makes me feel so grateful to be alive. It kind of brings you back to what your purpose in life is. And so that's why I love Badwater. And it's run very well. Chris Kosman is by far one of the best race directors in all of the U.S. So I ran Brazil twice, Brazil 135.
Talk about that first, because there was an article about, you and and it was Spencer. By that time it was Spencer, and you were like, oh, well, you just read this. So Brazil sounds insane. And then it was after that if the story goes right, I couldn't find it and put it in the ultra sign up sequence. But it was insane. And you're like, well, I think he says, or the two of you, you're like scheming together. And you're like, well, you did Brazil. Well, how hard can this one be? Right. So how did you discover the Brazil? When was this? Because it seems like it was a long time ago, 2016 or even before.
That's correct.
Okay. So tell me about what is Brazil? How'd you even find it? And then segue into the first Badwater.
Well, Mario Lacerda is the race director for Brazil 135. And he's good friends with Chris Kosman, and he's good friends with Bob Becker. So I was running a race in Florida, the Keys 100. In the meeting before, I got to meet.
That's Becker's race. Keys is Becker's.
That's correct.
Race. Okay.
And I got to meet all the race directors. And I walked up to Chris and I said, I'm going to get into Badwater and I'm going to break the over 60 record. And he said, oh, you are? And I said, yes, I am. And I was 59 at the time, I think. And so I went and ran the Brazil in January, got accepted to Badwater 135 and ran Badwater 135 and broke the record and broke my own record for about 6 years until one girl came in who was much younger than me.
You started the age group, right? That's how he's, yeah. So she's
right.
60. Okay.
And she broke my record by 23 points, I think, or 23 minutes, something like that. 23, 25, I don't know. But you know what I intend to do?
What?
I will be 70 next year.
Yeah.
October 25th. But I not only intend to break the Badwater. Of course, I've broken every age group at the Keys, but I am going to try to break her record in the 60 and up. So I'll set my own record in the 70.
And but beat her 60 times. Oh, yeah. You badass. So wait a minute.
Because I'm finally getting my speed back. It's taken me 2 years, but
from the hip, so it's still recovery. Wow. Okay. Well, wow. Can you then you really gotten your money's worth out of those initial tool sets to help you get better, but how often you connect with the hip replacement doctor, that young guy who's now, almost 50? No, not really. He's in his 40s now.
Yeah, he's in his 40s. It's funny because I went back to him for the yearly after the first few weeks and all that with a hip. Went back to him yearly, and then he is an Instagram follower with me as I am with him, because I told him, you watch, he told me I could only run 50 miles a week or 5 miles a day, and that's all he recommends. Well, he saw that I've been running 100-mile marathons, 135-mile marathons, and he now lectures every 6 weeks out of the country, and I am the main person that he lectures about.
Man, when you do it right, when you do a transaction that just nails it, you want to celebrate it. And yours, the hips, are definitely worthy of celebration. Can you believe it? This guy, now listen, when you're in a room of people trying to understand and have more information about the hips themselves, of course, he's gonna be like, oh, this guy really did it, right? He's, like it was all him. Oh, it was all him. When you talk to the running community, you're like, well, okay, the doctor was a necessary commodity, right? But it's the runner who's doing the work. Oh, man. Okay, so I'm so happy to hear it, because when I looked, the last race that I see is Keys in May, and I thought, I'm curious if there's other races since then, but I was curious to see, wait a minute, did you say, okay, I know what's happening in October? And so how's your calendar look after October 25th? How does the calendar stack up for the next year?
Well,
lacing up your new age group shoes.
I did run Badwater again this year, which isn't in Alter sign up. I don't know why, but I did run it and finished it.
Wait! You did Cape Fear, Salton Sea, Keys, and Badwater again? Oh,
yes.
Okay. Oh, God, you're amazing. So this was the 5th Badwater then, or 6th? 5th?
7th. The 7th.
Oh my God.
It actually was my 8th, because in 2024 I had COVID like 7 days before Badwater, and I ended up getting pulled at mile 50. I had horrible respiratory issues.
Oh no.
So I've done finished 7 Badwaters.
Okay, listen, I'm guided by and inspired by you, the people who I speak with, because again, I'm a baby in this, and I'm like, oh man, but I'm so inspired. So there's now 100%, 1000% commitment on my part. I'm doing it. I'm going to make it to that race. I hope you do. when I saw Becker come through like last year, then this year, and I went and did his things. He runs the keys. And then I saw your 10th place finisher and I said, wait, this is all too small. The community is too small. I don't care how slow I am. I'm going. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. So, okay. So much for my assessment about, she's going to take a break until she turns 70. Clearly that's not true. All right. So what's the schedule? What are the races? Well, I do want to hear about how hard was Brazil? Was Brazil hard because it's hard, or was Brazil hard because you'd never done anything remotely similar to that before?
Well, I'm mainly a road runner. I've done some trail races, but Brazil was all trail pretty much. You have some cobblestone roads, but it's through jungle and mountains. But it was beautiful. I loved it. Yeah, I did it again in 2022, I think, or with a broken hip. I did it that year, and then I had my hip replaced that year. And I did Badwater that.
Did you know that? Did it just feel like, your hip is sore, or did you know that it was more than sore?
Oh, it was horribly sore. I thought I had refractured it because I went with stem cells recommended, and that didn't help.
Didn't help. Didn't do the trick. Okay.
Did it twice. It was very expensive.
Yeah.
Didn't help. And so right before I went to my new doctor, I went to my family practice guy and said, look, I need a shot of cortisone. I can't even walk anymore. And he said, Pam, we need to x-ray it. I said, I've been begging for a new MRI and a new x-ray. But this guy, my first sports medicine doc would not give it to me. And so he x-rayed me and he said, Pam, have you seen anything about your hip? I went, no. And he said, well, come here. I want to set you down and show you. I have never seen this. My entire femoral head had dissolved. So I had a crack right between it, but it had dissolved. So I had ran all year long on that leg. I was like 30% slower and my leg was so much shorter. And so he goes, you've got to see this guy.
Because the head dissolved? It was shorter because the head dissolved? You ground down the bone enough that one of your legs is shorter? Oh, yes. My goodness. You beast.
So I went in to see the new orthopedic surgeon, the young guy. And he said, I can get you in 6 months. I said, no, I want to get in right now. And so he worked me in a week.
You were so ready for that? Oh, my God. Wow.
Yeah, especially when I saw it. I thought, well, no wonder, because I was having back problems also because my hip was like that.
Yes, the whole chain of your whole system. The fact that you were, wow.
So I did Badwater this year, and in 2 weeks I'm leaving for Spartathlon, and I'm going to do and try the Spartathlon this year.
Oh, excellent.
They have very fast cutoffs. So I have to run a 9.5 minute mile for about 60 miles. And I'm not quite sure I can do that, but I'm going to try. Because they give you 36 hours to complete 153 miles.
Yeah. And because it's on the road, though, that's the good thing. Like, it is on the road. It's a great time of year. I can't wait to see you kiss the feet of Leonidas when you get up there. It's going to be glorious. I can't wait. I can't wait to see that. Of course you're going to do that. This race, I feel like that particular race is absolutely designed for you. It's like, you know what? Let's let the hip shows. You're going to prove all these things. That's so fast, though. I mean,
yeah, it's very fast. Yeah. Yep. And there's been no woman over the age of 65 who's ever completed this race.
Oh, that's good. Oh, so many opportunities for that little piece of data to come into the world. Thanks to you.
So I'm hoping that my training has been good and that's what I have before I turn 70.
Right. So that's at the beginning of October, or when is that? When is it?
That's actually September 27th is the race.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, you're gonna crush it. It's so good. So you're gonna pound one last punch, one last swing at 69, and then stroll in like a champion with more medals around your neck for 70. That's good. That's really good. Do you ever talk to people? When's the last time you spoke with another ultra runner who was in their 60s? A woman. When's the last time you seen a woman?
Well, at Badwater, I have a couple who are Kim Budzik. She's 62. I have a couple of them that are 60, but there is no friend or nobody that I know that's my age or older in females. Now, plenty males, but not females.
Surely when they see you, because they exist, but often my gut says anyway that they're extreme back of the packers. We're chasing cutoffs, right? But still they're trying to do it. And one of the reasons I was very excited, thank you again for being here on this show, is that like just seeing you and hear you talk as a regular human being, right? Doing what you got to do as we grow old, get replacement parts, test them out, but wait until for some reason your gait is 3 inches different. Like, okay, now I'm going to do something, right? We do that because that's the other thing. Everybody's tough. By this point, there's no, there's no gentle, we might have gentle souls, but there's no gentle physical bodies anymore, right? We're like, oh no. And so it's good to see you. You have a great smile. You have this good sense of humor, very chill about it. And I want people to see that. I want to see some women in their 60s, and they know this. And I do see some every once in a while in the shadows. Like they do reach out and it's really good. And I'm really happy about that because I know we're out there. But more, I won't lie. How about this? Like, how many times have you thought about creating your own race?
I've thought about that a lot, actually. Quit thinking about it once I broke my hip, but I really wanted to do that. I know it's a lot of work, but I could do a wonderful race all by the water here and going down to Galveston because I'm only 20 miles from Galveston. It's like the Galveston Bay goes way up into Seabrook, and I would like to do that. It's just I'd probably have to talk my husband into doing that. But he's pretty good at doing whatever I want to do. I mean, I pretty much tell him what races I'm doing, and whether he goes along with it or not, he goes.
Right. Well, I don't. I'm not. When I saw that, when I didn't realize that you really loved running along the waters. I didn't put that together until just now, but this is kind of what I'm talking about. I guess there would be so many people. It's one thing to have Becker there. Becker's amazing. That's amazing. He's an amazing thing. Oh, look at this guy. And to understand he's a race director, that's something. That's really something. But it's a whole nother level if it's you. It is a whole nother level. Them are people who would be inspired, who would be one of the things I think is interesting. And I would be unapologetic about it. And that is the destination trail races, right? Candace Burt and the anytime you do the 200s, you've done Tahoe. I want to talk about that for a minute too. But the amount of money that it takes, not just for permitting, but just to figure it out, it's a lot of money. So when you end up paying, $2,000 to be able to race the race, it's a giant commitment. It's a big commitment. But also, the moment you're able to do that, you're really committing to yourself. So I feel like I'm also out on some kind of personal mission, Pam, to encourage people like you to start a race, but not for free, definitely for fun. And people want to pay. We got to get out of the mindset that somehow, because we run big races on volunteerism, which is great. But Stephanie Irving runs something called the Wild Woman Marathon in Mount Adams in Washington State. And I had the opportunity to speak with her on the podcast. And she gave me some really it was the energy that she decided. She owns a property though, so she can make her own thing around the property, which is great and easy. But it's very familial and right. She doesn't charge a lot. But when I talked to her, I thought, that's so amazing. She should charge a ton and have a foundation. And half the money goes to the foundation to support the blah, 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 and the da-da-da, the hip replacement ain't nothing but a thing. It's like buying a new pair of shoes or whatever. 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 So I'm here to, that's my little, vote of encouragement, because your face, your humor, your story, everything, to have an opportunity. And this is also self-serving, Pam, I'll admit, because once I turned 60, I thought I was hanging up my shoes. I'm like, not because I was too old or anything. I'm just like, no, I'd done that. So I know when I saw this guy come across at Leona Divide last year, run 100, I was at the 92-mile aid station, and this dude's like 63 or 4, comes past, and I'm thinking, you're doing a 100-miler? And he said, yeah. Like, yeah, okay, nothing but a thing, just another Tuesday, And I looked up at him, and he left the aid station. I think I'm sitting there holding the quesadilla, watching him just start going back to the race. I'm looking at myself like, what am I doing, man? Mark, back out there. And so I'm telling you, Pam, I'd do it, and people would do it, and people just imagine. I mean, what kind of chaos could we cause if the people who show up for your race are generally older? And it doesn't mean they're out of shape. It doesn't mean God bless all those people too. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a space I want to run a long distance in a place that's fun, run by people who have done this before, and it's fun. In my head, my fantasy mind is like, if Pam started a race like that, there would be a lot of people would show up willing to pay, all looking about me, we would be laughing the whole way. And yet we'd still cover our, 100-mile distance or whatever it is.
That's exactly right.
50K, 100K, something. Anyway, listen, I'm not trying to get, this is the lawyer's full employment show. And so we're going to get Spencer to work and get him to start doing the work, man. Let's pull the permit, Spencer. Come on. Well, I'm glad you thought about it.
I do miss a lot. I would like the race for the ages. I was supposed to do that this year. I knew I would not have enough time to really work on my speed for Spartathlon, so I didn't go. I'm going to go ahead and try that next year. But the thing that I love about that is that race is about older people.
Okay.
And
Manchester, Tennessee, a race for the ages. You were signed up to do the 93 hours.
No, you only get how many hours? 69 hours.
Oh, you get as many. Wait, what? You get to run your age in hours?
Right. And I'm definitely going to do it next year. Definitely, because I think I'm only going to try Spartathlon again this year. So, I definitely am going to do it. However, I might go back and do Snowdrop Ultra again in December. I'm probably going to do the Barrier Reef, which is a beach run in Texas. And that's fun. Oh my gosh. It is so great, that run. If you want to know how Texas people are, you've got a bunch of Texas people that are just a little bit younger than me, not quite. They're all laying on the beach out there, enjoying life, drinking beer, having a good time with, it's 80 degrees.
Yeah.
And they are cheering you on every time you come by. So, and you're coming by about 8 times. So, and they're just running up to you at the end, telling you how much they want to be just like you, So that race is really great too. So I do have races that I go to that are just nothing but fun. So
race for, let me see, in 2023, there was a sequence, and into 2024, race for the ages, Daytona 100, Keys Ultra, Daytona 100 again, Snowdrop Ultra, Badwater, Cape Fear, Salton Sea, Keys, Badwater. That's how you progress. Like, that's a lot. Do you?
Yeah, that is.
From a training perspective, do you ever take, like, what's your training? It feels like you're just getting really in the groove again, in a new kind of a groove, right? Right.
That's right.
And so
that's correct.
Knowing that you just did Badwater and that we've got the Spartathlon coming up, do you, how's your training change, or how has it kind of evolved with now that the hip is really coming into play? Do you have a specific set of training scenarios and then you taper and then you run, or do you just go from training, slow down a bit and run again, training, slow down? Like, how do you do it?
Well, it takes me about a week to start running again after 100 miles or longer. And if it's a 50-mile, I'm running like 2 or 3 days later. But the 100-mile, it does wear on my hip. So I do take extra time off. And if I do run, I'll either run on my AlterG if it's really bugging me, with 20% off my body weight. So I'll run at 80% just to give my joints a little bit of a. It gets harder the older you get, so to recover. So I also walk a lot more. I hardly ever walk in any of my runs. So I might, run, walk, getting started on, and then to do a long run. I listen to my body. That's the best thing I can do. My body, I can tolerate a lot of pain, but I want to continue running until I can't anymore. I want to break Bob Becker's record at Badwater. So to me, a lot of older men still are at the mindset that women can't do what men do. And that bothers me a little bit. I was raised in Michigan, so I wasn't raised like that. And I was raised with a bunch of women. So, and I had 3 girls myself. So it's like, I just like to set a record. And I'm going to start setting records this year again for my age group. I'm going to try to go to 6 days in the Dome. I'm going to try to go to Snowdrop. I'm going to try to go to places that have Mike Melton, who's the timer, who is a absolutely wonderful man. I don't know if you've ran into him, but he does so many races. And if you know him, you don't have to worry about your time. He's got it covered all the time. I've been to some races where the timers are asleep in a tent right there. And if you miss if you're doing a mile loop somewhere,
Right.
they miss your time, and that's very aggravating to me.
Yes.
I mean, so I don't like the thing that I find as you age, like to me, getting over a stroke, not one but 2, is just, I mean, it sends chills down my arms. I'm very proud of you.
Right.
I feel the brain is so big that you can direct it to relearn whatever you've forgotten. I intend to just continue to move it, and try to inspire people, women and men, to just give it the best they have, and then just a little more, and a little more. And that's pretty much what I've taught my girls to do, and my grandkids. So
I am so inspired just hearing you say the words out loud and so many little bits and pieces. So, number one, yes, on Bob Becker's record, yes, 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 and I'm excited to run that race. Either as you break that record or whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm going to get up there for sure. Okay, this might be a good opportunity. Take us back to Michigan real quick, or however much you want to tell the story about, and tell me what did your kids witness as from a running perspective? Like, tell me those kind of stories. Tell me a story or 2 of that, because I don't know. I have kids, but I don't have that. I was working. I was just working. I wasn't running. But after they kind of got older and left the house, I had a little bit of time, and that's when I started running. So, tell me about how running has inspired maybe some of your kids.
well, I've always worked out. I got extremely sick very sick. And in my late teen, I was 19, diagnosed with cancer, told I'd never have kids again. It was from a drug my mom took when she was pregnant with me. And so they were getting ready to do radical procedures on me. And that sent me back to Michigan because I was living in Florida when I got diagnosed with that. And I decided not to go that route.
Good for you. How do you have the power and mental clarity at 19 to make that decision?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first indicator that, okay, this woman is a different human
I
being.
didn't want kids at the time that I got diagnosed with that. But when they told me I'd never have kids again, and they were going, "You're okay with that, right?" Well, no, I'm not okay with that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like other people's kids, but I might like my own when I grow up a little bit more.
Exactly. At 19, that is the most solid kind of logic you can possibly express. Good for you. Oh my God.
So I went back up to Michigan and spoke with several doctors at Ann Arbor. It was just an amazing place for me. And I chose an experimental route and sort of a naturopathic route also. So, and I swore, I did a lot of praying. I had horrible, the treatment was very tough on me. I lived through it, but I saved my ovaries. I've got my uterus, a portion of it. I've got no cervix left. So I went ahead and got pregnant, had it sutured in. I've had 2 miscarriages, had the second baby, and then the third, which I was told not to do, ended up with a C-section hysterectomy because I just ruptured everything
that
they had done to me.
You're like, I'm getting the mileage out of this baby.
No kidding.
This one ain't going to be replaced, but I'm going to use it up.
And have 3 of the most wonderful girls. They're all very educated. They're just beautiful people. They've married well. And I raised them and supported them. And I went back to school when my oldest daughter was a baby after I was treated for my cancer. And so then I didn't start running actually until I was 50, probably 50, 49. I started to run because I started to get osteoporosis.
Oh, okay.
And they said, just start running because I was doing high impact aerobics and things like that. So I started running 3 times a week. And I think it reversed it a little bit, but I still ended up with osteoporosis on the left side in my hip. But anyway, I did it for health reasons. And then I was doing anesthesia for a doctor who was 10 years older than me. And he said, "Pam, you need to do a marathon." I said, I don't like marathons. I only run 3 days a week. So he says, "No, you need to do an ultra marathon." I said, "Well, what's an ultra marathon?" And he said, "And nobody's there." I said, "Okay, well, I'll do one." He said, "Put it on your bucket list," because he ran 50 miles. And I thought, well, he's so busy. If he can train, I certainly can, And so my girls were starting to go off to college. So I started running 5 days a week. So that's when I did Rocky Raccoon. I was doing 60 miles a week and that was it. And maybe not even that. And that was
2011. And by this point, the girls are in college or they're coming. Okay. Yeah, me too. Same. Okay. So at 55, you toe the line but this isn't a marathon. And this is not a 50K. It is not a 50-mile race. And it's not a 100K race. None of those things. And then the doctor said, do it. All he was kind of trying to do is he didn't think you were going to do 50 miles. He was like, oh, go. He thought you'd do a 50K because then, of course, he'll be able to say I did the 50 miles, right? So how did you tell that? How did you when you went to Rocky Raccoon, how does that sign up? How did you decide to do the 100 miles?
Well, I wouldn't recommend it.
Wait a minute. Wait, I didn't expect that. Okay.
Only because first of all, I trained on streets and Rocky Raccoon is a trail. And it's got roots and all sorts of tiny little trails, leaves and slippery. And it was in January, so it was very cold here in Texas. So it was about 110 miles from my house. So I got up early in the morning and went. My middle child, who runs marathons, came because she was out on break. And she helped me the last loop, the 20 miles. And she said, "Okay, Mom, this is good, but your eye, you've got taped because my lens had frozen. I had fractured my tibia. So that's why I wouldn't recommend it. You really need to do a lot more training for trails than just little road racing."
But you
and
finished.
so
It was a 20-mile loop, and it was 5 loops, and you finished. That's Rocky Raccoon? Okay.
that's right.
But you finished. You finished that
Yeah.
race.
And
With a
so
broken
all
leg?
of my girls,
Wait. With a broken leg you finished? Oh my God.
all of my girls said, "Mom, thank God you won't do this again, will you?" And I'm like,
Well, you're
Well,
like,
I won't do a trail race next, but I
I'll
will.
see.
And then my second race was the Keys 100.
Right. So at least you took a little break. February of 2011, Rocky Raccoon. May 2012. So, a year goes by, but okay. And then you start. And after that, you just, I can't, there's too many pages. We can't go through every race, but I did by myself. I was sitting there like, man, and I was trying to piece together, like, what was she thinking then? And how do you do this? How do you do this? Right. So what do you think when you wouldn't recommend somebody jumping into 100 right away, but how would you, let's say somebody in their 60s and they see you and they're like, I believe this woman, she's going to go break that record. She's going to go back to that Badwater, place where it's like hell on earth. She's doing it again. And I'm going to now, she has my attention. And so then you're in your 60s and you're probably a trail runner. You've probably done a couple of 50Ks or you've tried, right? So what's Pam's thoughts on how to get yourself to 100? What kind of race should you pick? Why should you pick it? And what kind of support do you need to do it?
That's exactly
That's
exactly right. It's how do you train? What do you and what do you need during the race? Because if you've got to pack it up and there's no aid stations, you're going to need a crew member to help you along the way. And that gets hard for older people because they don't have older friends that can stay awake and help you through this.
I did not expect that. You got your friends for you. They're all sleeping. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, we got to finish. I want Pam's tips, but then I want to hear a story or two about crewing because there's probably some of them that are pretty funny. Okay. So yeah, you got to have people. So if you need a crew for 100, first of all, you have to train right. So does that mean like you got a certain amount of miles? And then do you recommend that people train on the type of surface that the race is on?
Absolutely. Yes.
Do you ever race? Do you ever train on the race course itself? Now that you've run these same races a bunch of times, you're kind of a little familiar. But when you have a new type of race you haven't been to before, do you ever kind of scout it out and try to go run on the course?
Yes, I do. Mm-hmm.
Does that confidence give you mental confidence or physical strength? What would be the reason to go train on the course?
I just think a little familiarity helps you a lot in a new race. Even if you can just watch a YouTube photo of it, you say, "Oh yeah, this is something that might be hard for me. I need to train a little bit more for this," because I'm not great at looking at the elevation and decrease in a race, and I can't figure out. I don't really figure out. Well, how far up is this? How far down is it? How much is it elevated? The percentages. But if you're doing any type of work other than flat racing, which I'm really good at because I train that way, then I have to figure out how, how much of a challenge that will be for me. So, and how much work I need to put in it, because it takes different muscles to do hill work. It takes a lot of different muscles to do straight flats for over 100 miles. So, and that I change on pacing, which helps my muscles. So I might go fast and slower and faster and slower, which is really good. When you're just doing a track race or a road race that you're trying to get a lot of miles in the same terrain. But
you do strength work when it's a flat race. Do you do more strength work, or like in the gym somehow, or how do you do that? How do you cover strength for you?
I do strength work 3 times a week. And if I'm doing hills, I work harder on my legs and my bottom. So I work really hard on maintaining my butt, because running, I'm like 5'6", unless I've shrunk a little bit over the ages, but I weigh like 115 pounds. So I lose my body mass is very small, and I lose weight a lot in my bigger muscles during long races, because I only take in maybe 200 calories an hour if I'm lucky.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm sure I'm using muscle mass. And where do you lose it? You lose it from the larger muscles. So I try to get right back into weightlifting like a week or 2 after my races, and I work really hard in the gym doing that. But I have almost every machine that I need here at my house. I have my whole lower floor as a workout area for me. So, it's very important, especially aging, to prevent a lot of injuries that the older women have, especially with postmenopause and things like that. To strength train, you just have to strength train. So, and very heavy weights, I do those.
Right. Okay. So many things again. Yeah. Perimenopause and menopause, big issues. We never talk about that. And we never get the authority of an older woman to talk about that when it's postmenopause. So same thing. So we're going to go on this little tangent, on this little limb, because it's so critically important. I didn't know. And I have a strong women in my life, and and my girls are strong. I have girls who are, so it's really important to understand our hormones. And because most of those tests over the decades have been on men, like we don't spend any attention on women. Now, finally, that's happening. But having said that, you're still talking to this 60-year-old people who are like, okay, run a couple of ultras. Now I'm going to follow what Pam says. So we're going to go to Pam says. So what do you do to handle from a hormone standpoint and tie it into working out? Aside from doing strength training, working on the glutes and really making sure your leg muscles, especially if you live in a flat ground, make sure your leg muscles are working. Do you do anything else because of the hormones? Like how does that play a role in your workouts?
Well, I do take progesterone and estrogen. So I do take a like you can get it in a patch, you can get it in a pill, you can get it in a cream. And I think that's very important. The studies that have been brought out, even with having cancer, if you stay at a low level, you still have some. When I went to get my hormones checked, when I started on hormone therapy, my estrogen was nothing. And that was part of my break from my hip. So that you can't get back. I mean, especially when you have no body fat. So it's the point to where I don't care how well you're eating, you just cannot get it back.
Right.
If you're losing your hair or whatever, it's better to just go and have it monitored by a physician and make sure that you're within range of what you're supposed to be. I think that just kind of helps prevent any breaking and loss of that. I mean, I would not get in. If anybody was to drug test me, there'd be nothing that they would find in me.
Right.
I'm very low estrogen still, but I'm at a low percentage. At least I have some. And progesterone I take, it helps me sleep at night. So that I take. My testosterone is pretty low. I don't have to take that. So I'm fine with it low. It seems to go up a little bit when I heavy weight lift and get my muscles back up to where they need to be.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that people should take it.
Do you have when you go, do you need to find a doctor who is familiar with running and ultra running specifically? Like that's another thing I've experienced. Like people say, well, I go to a doctor, but as soon as I tell them what I'm trying to do, they don't really have any reference. So do you experience that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I've been going to the same woman for about probably 15 years now. She's downtown Houston. I drive down there to see her because she draws my blood and we do urine tests and all that. And after a race, I am depleted in everything. So I just want women and men to know that after you've run a race, that it's going to deplete all your hormones. So you need to get at a level, sometimes bump it up a little bit if you need to right before a race if you're running really low. So find a doctor that's really good about the extreme sports. And this is an extreme sport.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay,
and
so
my cardiologist is the same. I tell him, he goes, well, how are you doing, Pam? Now I'm on high blood pressure medicine. It's in my family. I'm on it. And so I say, I'm fine. How do you think I'm doing? And he does an echo on me every year. And because he can't do exercise treadmill test because I'll blow that away. I have done that. But he says to me, whatever you're doing, keep it up.
Right.
So that's exactly what he tells me, whatever you're doing. And he is the cardiologist for all of the major sports in Houston. So I just feel really great that I have good people taking care of me.
Right. I think it's important to get people, we get comfortable with the people we're using instead of, and we need to have the freedom to kind of ask them, well, I'm doing something I haven't done before. And I'm not coming here for you to say, don't do it. I'm coming here for you to say, what's the best way to path forward, right?
Right.
As we get older, we can demand more. We can have higher expectations from the medical professionals we use to support us. And there's so many people, oh, my doctor said I shouldn't do it. I'm going to say, okay, get another doctor. Go talk to somebody else, right? You talk to one lawyer lawyer says, oh, I shouldn't do that. Well, okay, but go talk to another one. Get some information, gather the data, right? And so you reference hormone replacement therapy, fantastic. And as we age, we don't wake up every morning with new stores restored. Doesn't work that way, right? So we've got to take some action.
You're right.
Glute activation, right? Your butt. If we don't, and I think part of when I was standing there with that quesadilla in the Leona Dubai 92-mile aid station when the dude, took off and I'm standing there with one of the things that goes through my mind, I'm like, man, I really, in that second, I realized, Pam, I thought, part of what my reasoning is I knew, because I think I was 60 or 61 at that time, I knew that my muscle mass, right, my body composition was changing and it was fading quickly in some ways. And that was never imagined such a thing would happen. And so, I'm glad to hear that you do what you have to do, build your own gym in the bottom, in the basement. Right now, I think if someone was going to come to you in their 60s right now, run a couple of 50s, this same person we're talking about, and they go to Pam and they say, Pam, how do I can motivate myself to run, but how do I motivate myself to lift weights?
Well, that's something I don't like doing, but I sure like the benefits. I'll tell you. So if you can motivate, do whatever it takes, because it's probably a lot of coaches, running coaches probably will tell you don't lift weights, just do body work, But being our age, you have to lift. You lose 1 pound of muscle mass just aging every year. That's a lot. And so when you get my age and you can build muscle up till you're about 70 years old, and then it's very hard to build muscle. So get the muscle built now and then just maintain it once you get to 70. So do I like lifting? No, I hate it. But do I do it? Yes, because I like the way it makes my body feel. I'm stronger, carry my own groceries. My elevator's been broken in my home for about 6 months now, and I'll carry my 65-pound golden retriever up the steps because she's going to be 13, and if she has a hard time moving, then I carry her. So it's like you have to, in order to keep your mind young, you have to challenge, step out of your comfort zone and do things you don't like doing. And that's just life. So if you want to age gracefully, lift weights, take hormones, and learn to get comfortable doing uncomfortable things. So that's what I would tell them.
That's a golden nugget right there. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So people we're gonna start training like Pam. We're gonna sign up for Pam's. We're gonna sign up for Pam's races as soon as she starts one. And then now, since we're so darn close, could you go ahead? Could you tell me a story about the Spartathlon training? Like, now that you've changed your mind, you committed to it. When did you commit to it? And tell me everything up to today. Now we're just a couple weeks out.
Well, I committed to it when I found out I got in, which was in January, I think.
Okay.
And so that's when I loaded up the races. I wanted to put miles on my feet. I didn't care how fast they were. I just wanted to put you always have one or two main races a year that you want to commit to do the best you can. So I did all those races, and I even did a virtual race in January, 267 miles. And so then I literally started training right after Badwater. I started lifting hard, doing speed work twice a week, hills once a week on the treadmill, and downhill also. Because there's a lot of downhill work that will work out your quads really well. If you're doing any type of hills, know that you're going to go downhill sometime. So in order for you to get the eccentric work in your quads, do downhill training on a treadmill. That will work out your quads a lot. So that's what I started doing. I worked myself up to 100 miles a week of running for 2 weeks, and then I'm down to 60 miles the third week. And man, when the fourth week comes and I'm up to 100 miles, I am so strong. I do decrease a little bit of my weight. I'll do 2 weeks of really hard weight, and then I take off maybe 20% of that weight on the third week. So I do that, and that seems to help my body recover and build. So if I feel that I am not feeling well on a day, and it's a rarity that I get sick, and I think that's because I take hormones. And if I feel that I am getting sick, because I watch my grandkids sometimes, and they cover all the bugs in the world, and then I might take off, and I might have 12 miles scheduled that day and only do 10. And then I'll go to bed early, or I'll take a nap, because sleeping really is important once you get over 60. So I think that if you don't get a full 8 hours at night, you really need, even if you don't sleep, you need to lay down for about 30 minutes and rest, and then pop back up and get moving. So learn to do that, and I think that you'll be strong up until you're 70 anyway.
And after that, it's new. We're breaking new records. So this coaching information is only available while you're in your 60s. Don't get ahead of your skis. Get fit in your 60s. We'll take care of 70 when it comes up, right? That's what we're doing.
That's right.
Now you're just a couple of weeks away from the Spartathlon. So what's literally happening at this moment? So then just a couple of weeks out, the training's done, really, right? Like, So what does that
No
look
more
like?
speed work.
How do you deal with the last couple of weeks?
It's tough for me. That's one thing that's hard for me also. But I do so much better when I taper. So I'm doing 60 miles this week, 40 miles next week, and then it's race week.
Okay.
So yeah. So I'm traveling is hard on me. That's a 12-hour flight. And so we're leaving on Tuesday, but we get there Wednesday morning. And so I'll have all day Wednesday to lay around and rest and recover. I'll probably take a shakeout run on Thursday and one on Friday. And then my race day is Saturday. So that's pretty much what I do.
Okay. All right. Now it's perfect segue into support. So this charismatic person with the name of Spencer, we're going to just say, right? So it's such a unique name. And this guy, clearly he's a chief cook and bottle washer. He's all around to support you every way he can. At least that's everything I read. But now talk about support as we get older and the concept of crewing, but talk about how do we as older travel around to races like, you've done so many that, I mean, if I'm not, I don't have a page. I don't have fill up my ultra sign up. It's not a page yet. It's just a bunch of races, but not like yours. So I'm still in the universe where I've got favors and people will show up and support. But after a while, they're going to be like, oh, sorry, man, I can't do it. It's too much time. So talk about that. How people in their 60s, how are you going to get people to really crew, and what kind of people should you have? Like, what do you need? What do you really need? And how do people decide and figure out what they need with respect to crew?
My husband is great. He crewed me from the second race I did.
Yeah, but he's not available. He's not available for other people. So just to forget about him. I know he's great.
Don't find someone who irritates you in normal life. That's the one thing. I think you need to know the people. And I think for people who want to learn and can listen, I think you need to probably talk to them for an hour before you go. Crewing is a thankless job. That's the truth. And I am very easy to crew. Because I truly am. I don't ask for hardly anything, but I can tell you exactly what to give me. And if I get sick, I don't want people, pampering me.
Right.
And there are certain things that you should probably fill out on a piece of paper to find someone that really want to help you out and crew you. And that is, I need salt at a certain time. I need fluid at a certain time, and I'm going to get really nutty once I've missed 24 hours of sleep, and I've been running for 24 hours. So you need to be my mind for me and start handing me things. So if it's at nighttime, this is what I need. If it's in the daytime, this is what I need. Just hand it to me. I'm not a talker. When I'm running, I am not a talker. I am so focused in my own brain about trying to get over what physically I feel that I just don't like to talk. And so that's one thing that's really different about me other than not running. So I tell people, thank you. I will thank them. And if you find someone to crew you, just make sure they don't constantly ask you, what do you want? You're not going to know what you want.
Exactly.
You've got to let them know what you need. In between. And so if they come out, they should come out with either a bucket with 3 different things to choose from, so they can just pick it up. I can just pick it up and run. I don't want you to come out to me every time and say, what do you want? Because I will get really upset,
Sure.
And say, just don't come out anymore. So it's real easy if you are good about being alone, because you're going to be alone to crew for this person. Meet me 2 miles up or 3 miles up, and just come out with a new bottle and 3 things that I can choose from, or put it in the back end of your car or whatever, so I can grab it and keep going.
Right. So this is after many races and a lot of experience. So clearly you've had a couple of times where people are just like, they want to support, but they're not helpful. That's the other thing.
That's
People
correct.
they want to help, but they're not. They're not helpful
Right.
because you don't need
in
that.
a 100-mile race, you're going to be up all night. So you want someone who cannot stay up all night. And that's, that's not being rude. It's just being honest,
Right.
Wake up. The Badwater race starts at night. So you're going to be up 2 nights. That's 135 miles and in 140-degree weather at 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah, that's right. And Badwater is a minimum crew number, right? Is it still 2 or is it 3 now? Or what's the minimum?
The minimum is 2.
Minimum of 2. And how have you done of all the Badwaters? What's the best Badwater cruise scenario? Because you have a vehicle, right? So the vehicle is in front of you, right?
Right. And my husband always drives. So, and I used to have 4 crew members. I don't have that anymore. It's too many for me. Just way too many. And so I like to run alone. I don't have to be paced the whole time because our pacer at Badwater is behind us, not in front of us. So I only want 2 crew members. I don't care if one of them gets sick. I'm fine with one other person just handing me things because I could run the whole race without a pacer, period. So it's the point to where that's all I want. I want people to hand me a cold drink every 30 minutes, give me 2 or 3 options of what to put in my mouth and a salt pill. Because at 140 degrees, because I heat train, I sweat 1,200 milligrams of sodium an hour. That's a lot.
It is.
So I want to replace at least 3/4 of that. So give me a salt pill every 30 minutes or give me a salt drink. So I'm fine with that.
So you're dialed in every single race, including Badwater, so specific, but including Badwater, right? Every race is specific. You mentioned a couple of times now, let's segue for just a second from crewing to pacing. Do you ever use pacers? Do you like pacers? You don't need them? Like just in general, how do you use pacers?
In general, I don't like them. But at Badwater, because it starts at night and I am 69 years old, I fall asleep on the second night. So I love having a pacer. I don't want you talking to me, I would rather you just, if you want to talk about, just like, hey, are you doing okay up there? Because they can't see me. Do you want me to hold? Do you need anything? Once we meet up with the car, that's what I want a pacer for, because you can't tell me to go faster. I am going to do that myself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or you can't tell me to quit walking if I'm walking.
Right.
It's a point to where that's why I don't want anybody with me. Pacers. But the problem is, if you want to run Badwater, you have to crew Badwater. Now, I never did, which I was lucky. Literally, that's all I can say. However, Chris wants you to crew a Badwater race, just so you learn. I would love to have an ultra runner to crew me. That is so much better than someone who has never ultra ran before.
Yeah, I think that makes so much sense. And as I hear you speaking, I'm realizing, when we get older, forget running. As we get older, we get set, not set in our ways. As we get older, we know what we like. And we also know what we need. Often. Sometimes we don't, but we know what we need. And I think the type of crew person and the pacer what you're talking about I don't think it's related to running. I think the vibe that when we're trying to do a thing, if I'm concentrating and focusing on a thing, whether it's running or not, I'm focusing on a thing and I want somebody to help me out and they know they're going to help me out. I'm going to have to tell them, okay, this is how, talk to me like this. Say these things to me. I don't need anything else, but I really need you. You must be here for me, please. But this is how I think as we get older, I don't know. What do you think? I think we get better at just being pretty clear about that, whether we're running or not.
Oh, yeah. And because of your job and my job, I mean, literally, I am I've had to tell a surgeon to stop what he was doing and call another doctor in, so I don't have a problem with that either. But I know a lot of people do. And I've been very fortunate the last 3 years. My middle child has gone with me to Badwater, and she's the runner. She's doing, as a matter of fact, New York. She's fast, but she doesn't alter run. She's actually alter run like a 50-mile beach run I got her to do last year with me, and Daytona she did, and we did it together. She is
Daytona
really good.
100 mile. I see the Daytona 100 miler or Daytona
100 miler.
You just said, well, she doesn't do ultra running, but she did run a 50 miler and a 100 miler before.
Yeah, she's trying. That's not her love like it is mine.
Sure, but still, come on.
But yeah, she did well with me.
Okay.
She tried to do the Keys 100 and she had a sodium problem and by herself.
Is Daytona 100 can you see the water somehow? Daytona?
No. No. Well, I take that back. You can see the water, maybe about 20 miles of it. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. And what I don't like, and I've done Daytona 5 times, but I'm not going to do it this year. What I don't like about it is Daytona itself at nighttime when you're coming in to the end is not very safe. And, the race is great because it's the perfect weather. It's cool. It's sort of like California weather.
In December, right? Yeah. So it's in December. Okay. I see.
Right.
I see. Yeah. I think you referenced it earlier too. It's hard to find. Yeah, maybe as we get older, because this is just now I'm just saying about myself. It's hard to find people who I could even ask to crew me. Because I have a couple of people, I have some guys at my age, but they run marathons and they don't have a concept of what we're talking about. And when they heard what I was doing recently, my big objective I'm turning 62 in a couple of weeks. And so next year I'm going to run my first 100K, 100 miler and 200 miler. I'm committed.
Oh, good for you.
It's in the books. I don't care. I'm in because life's too short. Life's too short.
Yep.
And I picked the races because I haven't done something before, but it's not about distance. It's about something else because I love the training is what I'm into, really, I guess. That's really what it is. I just love to show up every day, suit up, chop wood, carry water. Let's go. And
yeah, that's me too.
Yeah. But in the process, I'm like, how do I even approach them? Right. So I'm a big, I can see so far, and clearly you've done it too. I don't self-sufficient, maybe just use drop bags. I don't know. I just haven't worked that part out exactly yet. And
yeah, it's very, especially for your 200, it's going to be really hard.
Yeah. I got one of the guys on this podcast, is our age and he's done a bunch of them and he's like swept the whole course. He's a destination trails kind of heavy duty volunteer, done all kind of marked all the courses. Anyway, inspired me. I'm like in the lottery. I'm like, oh my God, I told myself I'd never join a lottery unless I was willing to do that race. So I'm just trying to lay back. But Bigfoot, there's zero reason for me not to do Bigfoot. So I put in the lottery and I got drawn. So I'm like, okay. Gotta be careful what you ask for, baby. That's what the destination trail. Once you get in, like, well, where's that credit card? Let's go. Come on, let's go. Oh, you won the lottery. It's the only lottery you ever win. You got to pay thousands of dollars once you win, right?
Oh, that's great, Mark.
Yes, I am so excited. I'm
excited too for you. You know what you might want to do? If you know this guy, you could maybe call him up and say, hey, do you have anybody who could crew me for this race? Because he, of all people, would know if he's big into the destination, trails. So, and he might want to crew you.
Yes. He's offered it up. He said, well, me and a couple of guys are going to be self-supporting, but they're already organizing how that would happen. So even if you did that level of, it's the coordination that matters. I think talking to people who've already done it, who've known the thing, and just like you said, go find a YouTube video and watch, somebody else who's done it already, right? Who's done the right.
Right.
So I interrupted though. You said, so once you had a crew, your daughter ran with you, or your marathon daughter has been one crew member, and your husband is another one. And so I guess as you get older, it's harder to find people who are somehow our age who understand what can be done and are willing to. I need to find more people who can do all-nighters. I thought everybody did, because I've been an all-nighter guy my whole life. And now I'm realizing, damn, they're not sleeping. You can't sleep. Come on.
Right.
Teamwork makes a dream work, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So we've got a couple of weeks to Spartathlon. That's going to be good. How do you document all of your stuff? Do you take a lot of photos ever? Or how do we know, aside from Ultra Sign Up, if I don't get to talk to Pam, if I don't see Pam again for a while, all I know is what's on Ultra Sign Up. So how do you capture, or do you capture your data?
My husband takes a lot of pictures and he posts them on Facebook. He's not a big Instagrammer, but he does post them on Facebook. And when I get home or get finished with the race, I'll sit back and go through what he's posted and then capture them, and then I'll post them on Instagram. So
perfect. What a good system. This is a good system. So good. Oh, it's just an absolute joy to communicate with you, to see you today and speak with you and laugh with you. I love that. That's so good. Here's a question I like to kind of understand. Has your why do I run, has your why changed over time as you've gotten older?
No.
Then why do you run?
I think it gives me a great gratitude time to be living, even though I thank a higher power every day. When I'm running, it just tears at my soul how grateful I am to be alive. So that's why I still run.
That's worthy of a beautiful pregnant pause right there. Thank you. Thank you, Pam. Amen to that. Amen to that. And every day is every day. Every day is every day. Well, you're amazing. I want to see you. I want to see you out on the course. You run enough 100-mile races that I know I'll be able to intersect with you at one point in time. And today is the day. Today is the day. I'm today years old when I committed to Badwater because of you. And I'm committed to, I want to live in the era when the oldest crushing Badwater finisher is Pam Chapman-Markle.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Anything we haven't covered? Because you're amazing and I could sit here and listen all day. I think you're just awesome.
Oh, thank you, Mark. I think you're awesome. And thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Well, it's good. I hope people have heard you now tell stories that they hadn't heard before about you. I bet they've read a lot of things, but you covered a lot of ground that we'd never heard before. So thank you. Thank you. Okay, that's it. I'll see you next time.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.